Mystery Alaska against Hoosiers. I can't beat this stupid fucking movie. Today, we're going to start with the ultimate sports movie bracket. We're going to run through the entire bracket. We have hand-selected 64 of what we feel are the most popular, most notable, and the best sports movies ever created, with the goal of finding the definitive best sports movie of all time. I think we should jump right in.
I like it.
The first matchup on the board, which is an insane pairing here. Rocky up against Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Who would have thought
I know.
we'd be sitting here having this
I know.
conversation right now? It would be great if you could combine these movies. The two of these movies combined together would be fantastic. Unfortunately, we have to pick against them right now.
I was going to say, this is a tough one to start out with. You want both of those moving on, but
I really do. Yeah.
These are two movies that in other scenarios I think I'd take, so it's tough for them to go against each other. I mean, they both have great qualities. Both movies I can watch kind of whenever. That's a big thing, especially with sports movies, is like their watchability. I feel like both of these have great scenes. I mean, Rocky is a classic. Cool Runnings is a classic if you've watched it. But, I mean, I think everyone kind of knows that, Rocky's the favorite, and I think that's arguably we're going to see the movie moving on for a while probably. So if I got to pick, I think I got to go Rocky, and it's tough to not pick my Cool Runnings is such a good movie, man. But yeah, I probably gotta go with Rocky here, and that's a tough one. It's a tough one off the bat, but
yeah, I mean, Cool Runnings, great story.
Yeah,
but I think in the end we're not going based off good stories. Yeah, like Michael said, I think this is one of the early favorites, and I don't think you can go against moving Rocky to the next round.
Rocky's a favorite to win the whole tournament.
Yeah,
I won't hesitate to move it on right now. Rocky's an all-time.
Yeah,
that's one that's not going to lose to a bunch of Jamaican bobsledders. No offense.
It's true. And I think
if Rocky's going to lose, it needs to be to like another powerhouse.
A heavy swinger.
It can't go out here.
A heavy swinger.
All right, next matchup. We've got 8 men out against white men can't jump. This one's easy for me. I don't know if it's going to be consensus across the board. Lynch, where are you leaning here?
This is a tough one for me. These are both movies I've watched before, and I probably have only watched them once. So that's where it gets tough. Personally, I think White Men Can't Jump probably gets referenced more. Not referenced, but it's like more known, I would say. But I'm a big sucker for those old baseball movies. So I don't know. I don't want to be like the deciding factor here because I want to hear your guys' opinion. Like I want to hear what you say, and then I kind of want to maybe give my 2 cents because I really
for those listening to this on Spotify and not watching it on YouTube, I just emphatically shook my head yes when Lynch said old baseball movies.
Yes, you did.
Are better.
They are
because they are, and this is underratedly one of the best.
Yeah, it's a really
sports movies ever made, but especially baseball movies. I would not hesitate to send 8 men out. I won't foreshadow to the next round, but I think 8 men out. It's tops. I think it contends.
I'm a big lover of those baseball movies, whether it's all the old ones like Field of Dreams. But yeah, White Man Can Jump, great movie. And like Michael said, it gets referenced a lot throughout a lot of talks. But I'm going 8 men out here.
Make it 3.
Make it a sweep, baby. 8 men out moves on with ease.
Something about those old baseball. I knew you'd shake your head with that. I knew you would.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of that movie, but I was going to let you two come to that conclusion.
I feel like the title of the movie is what people know.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I know Woody Harrelson's in it, but I couldn't tell you what the plot is. I completely forget. I'm going to assume it's about people of our skin color that can't really jump that high. It's like a gymnastics movie or something.
I think it's like a pickup. I think it's like pickup, and they kind of go at it with each other.
Pickup gymnastics?
No, pickup ball.
I think it's a pickleball movie.
Pickleball.
That's what I heard.
A pickleball movie would beat Rocky.
That will happen at some point.
All right, next up, Slapshot against Angels in the Outfield. This one's a no-brainer for me.
Slapshot
clears.
Slapshot. I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
good.
I don't think you can really go against Slapshot. I mean, there's some movies I would take over Slapshot, but Angels in the Outfield just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Again, one of those movies that I've seen, but I kind of forget the exact premise of. All right, next up, Major League versus the Pride of the Yankees. This one's, I feel like you can't even say recency bias because neither of these movies were made recently.
Yeah.
But Pride of the Yankees is way too far out of our generation's reach.
Yeah.
And I think Major League is one of the funniest sports movies that's ever been made. I have a little Jobu statue in my bedroom at home. I'm sure you've both seen it.
You do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the best things I own. Like one of my most favorite pieces of sports memorabilia, quote unquote, is the little Jobu recreation. I'm going Major League here. What are you guys thinking?
To be honest, I don't even think I've ever watched The Pride of the Yankees, to your point of it just being a little outdated for us. I've heard of it, but I've never watched it. And Major League's one of those movies, like I've kind of hinted at, and I'm probably going to repeat myself a lot, is you can just watch that a million times, and it's always going to be funny. So I'm going to go with you here, Brendan. Major League for sure.
And Major League has some of those characters where in movies, you know exactly, like Wild Thing,
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah.
And even like playing youth baseball, it's Wild Thing, or like Willie Mays Hayes, you just know those names. And Major League is one of those movies that has always stuck with me for being funny, but also just knowing the characters.
Glory Road against Ford versus Ferrari. I don't have much opinion here. I don't know if anyone else does.
I'm going to go right away. I think Ford vs. Ferrari is a great movie. And I'm just going to go with that because that's what I know.
Jackson, what are you thinking here?
I mean, yeah, car movies are great, and I know it's British, so that's kind of brings it home to me.
Hell yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Glory Road. I like that story and the whole kind of like bringing the team, and you kind of choose talent as opposed to race. And I just like the whole, like he takes, I mean, it was like the original Celtics, like first team to do an all black starting lineup. And this is what this movie reminds me of, where they're kind of setting the tone for future generations. So I'm going to take Glory Road here.
That makes me the tiebreaker. I'm going to go Glory Road as well. I think overall it's a better movie.
Yeah.
I liked both movies, but I think I'm playing the nostalgia card here with Glory Road. To me just reminds me a little bit more of like, you know, a DVD you would have in the car, in the back seat of the car as a kid, if you had those cars that had like little TVs in them. And you'd watch this on like a road trip. So I'll rip Glory Road, even though I don't particularly care for either of these movies that much. All right, next up, we got The Blind Side against He Got Game. The Blind Side has been controversial in recent years because, apparently they like, does anyone know the story? Did they force him to like, aren't they saying they're alleging that they groomed him or something?
Something, maybe.
Wasn't he suing as well or something?
He sued, yeah, the actual guy sued his parents.
Michael Orr?
Yeah, about the movie and about the book, too. Like, he didn't get royalties or something from it, and, like, it wasn't accurate to the story at all. Either way, I'm picking The Blind Side. There's just a better movie.
Yep.
I mean, no hesitation right there.
Yeah.
I'm bummed that it's getting tainted. Granted, I mean, I'm not one to... I don't know what actually went down. But,
yeah, I was going to say, I don't know.
It's pissing me off that it's ruining the movie for me. Next up, we got Dodgeball against Talladega Nights. This is like a Final Four match.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, what happened here? Is this like an 8-9?
This happening, I could get you the exact seeds. It might be an 8. It probably is an 8-9, but this in the first round is intense.
That's brutal.
Lynch, I'm going to let you go first because you dressed up as a character from one of these movies for Halloween. So have at it.
I was the average Joe's for Halloween, man. God.
And that explains the goatee.
I know, literally. No, seriously. The thing that I'm trying to balance my brain out with is like, which movie could I survive never watching again? You know what I mean?
I'll give you my decision.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Decision goes off a phrase that I think a lot of people know.
Yeah.
And it's, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah, that's such
so I'm going with dodgeball.
I don't know, man. This is tough. This is hard.
I want him to answer before I go.
I know. I'd be a fake person if I didn't go with this. I'm going dodgeball, man. That movie's so funny.
I'm going dodgeball too.
Yeah, that movie's so funny.
Yeah.
I just think there are better Will Ferrell movies than Talladega Nights. I'm sorry.
100%.
Thank you. Yes, that was part of my rationale. The other thing I was thinking was, if you know me, and I was talking about this last night. My favorite genre and era of movies is 2000s rom-coms. And I know that Dodgeball's not really a rom-com, and Talladega Nights, like they could be technically, but Vince Vaughn dominated that scene.
Great.
Wedding Crashers, one of my favorite movies of all time. And
Yep.
I'm a big Vince Vaughn guy. Dodgeball, not my favorite movie of his. It's a little more slapstick and silly. It still holds up, though. I would take that over Talladega Nights any day of the week. I think our audience is going to think we're insane for not picking Talladega Nights.
I just think it's it's like a brain dead movie sometimes.
This is giving me flashbacks to 2 years ago when we would do the drafts, and all Lynch's fucking buddies would always, they always had the most outlandish
Bro,
takes.
sometimes they wouldn't even pick me though.
No, they wouldn't even, sometimes they wouldn't pick either of us, but it would be like, what the hell? Like, I thought we were, sometimes you and I would agree 1,000% on something, and it's like, this is consensus. You're like, what the fuck? Like,
Stupid.
I guarantee we're going to get comments from those people when we post this on Instagram about not picking Talladega Nights. But Dodgeball, I think, is a better movie.
I mean, Talladega Nights could beat some other movies in this bracket.
For sure.
Yes, this is a tough matchup.
I don't think they'll be Dodgeball. And
Voice of reason right there. This is a tough matchup for both of these movies. All right. Next one. Happy Gilmore, $1 Million Baby. This one I don't think is going to need much conversation.
I mean, the obvious answer is Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. I'm not even going to.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's no even discussion.
We don't even need to talk about it.
Yeah.
2 baseball movies here.
Yeah.
We got Bull Durham against Rookie of the Year. Bull Durham, in my research of compiling this list, I believe, let me look at the rankings just so I can be correct about the things that I'm saying. Bull Durham's a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a 1 versus 16. A lot of people said Bull Durham is the best sports movie of all time.
These are both, like you said, iconic baseball movies. And Rookie of the Year, I mean, I like it. It just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
And then Bull Durham, Kevin Costner in baseball movies is unmatched.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly why Bull Durham did succeed. And so I think it's, yes, I like both movies, but I'm taking Bull Durham.
I second that. Rookie of the Year is just kind of corny, too, if we're going, like, in the sports movie realm. Great movie, but Bull Durham, I'm a big fan of that movie.
Rookie of the Year, wildly unrealistic.
Yeah. I'm
100%. Reminds me of that basketball movie, Thunderstruck.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that on here, Brendan?
No.
Because that's my number 1.
That's it. Thunderstruck didn't make. I thought about putting Thunderstruck on.
That was the
there.
first 4 out.
And then I was, that's a Tuesday night kind of game.
Yeah.
Next matchup, I'm excited for this one. We've got 2 hockey movies going head to head. This is an 8-9, I believe. We got Mystery Alaska against Tooth Fairy, which, if I'm not wrong, Michael, I think you put in your top 5 sports movies of all time.
I probably did.
Back when?
Did I really? That's criminal for me.
I think you did.
That's criminal for
Put
me.
Tooth Fairy?
And that was one of the ones where everyone was like, good pick, Michael.
That was hockey movies, though. That had to have been.
Oh, was that hockey movie? That might have been hockey
It had
movies.
to have been. There's no way I hit that top 10 sports movie. I could list 30 movies before. Anyway, yes, that is a great movie, but the obvious answer here is Mystery Alaska. I don't think I have to explain. To me, I think that's just a timeless classic. So I'm going to go with that.
I'm going to move it ahead before we even have time to deliberate about it. Next up, we got Hoosiers against Fever Pitch. For me, it's Fever Pitch just because it's about the Sox.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, yeah, being from Boston, obviously Fever Pitch is great, but I've been the Hoosiers fan since I was a young child. And I watched that movie when I was young, and it's one of those movies where it kind of gets you into basketball.
Yeah.
And just the whole story of like Indiana basketball, and obviously they're the Hoosiers. And I feel like whenever I talk to people about college basketball, it always kind of comes back to Hoosiers.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm going to take Hoosiers in this match.
For the sake of the people, to know, not even that. I don't even know where to go. Do I flip a coin? No, I'm going to go Hoosiers here. It's tough to go against Fever Pitch. It's tough to go against Fever Pitch, but I don't think Fever Pitch is honestly going to make it any further. And if I want to have the conversation of great movies, I think Hoosiers needs to be in that. That's where I'm going.
This is going to go down as one of the greatest what-ifs of all time.
Yeah, what if Fever Pitch had the chance?
Well, I think Fever Pitch was going to run if it made it through Hoosiers.
Could have.
I think it beats the next matchup. I think it's better than We Are Marshall or King Richard.
I agree.
I mean, come on.
Not the Herd?
Dude, Fever Pitch getting bounced in the first round is tough. That's a tough pill to swallow for me. All right, next up, we got We Are Marshall against King Richard. I'm going We Are Marshall. I love this movie. McConaughey, classic. Sad movie, very sad, but it's a very good movie.
I agree.
I'm down on Will Smith big time after the slap.
Slap.
I won't watch any movies with him anymore. Well, isn't this the movie he won for that night?
I believe so.
That was insane. He went up there, he slapped Chris Rock, and then he went back and sat down, and an hour later, he got up and did the acceptance speech and everything like nothing had happened. Next up, Rocky 2 against D2, the Mighty Ducks.
Is D2 the one with the games? They did the American
the
team.
one with the hockey playing games?
No, they played all the different countries. The Youth Olympics.
That is D2. D3, they go to school, right?
Yeah. It's like the Youth Olympics or something.
I'll jump in first. I still don't think it beats Rocky.
No, it doesn't. I was just making sure. Yeah, mine's Rocky too. I'm going Rocky.
Rocky's one of those franchises that got better as it kept going.
Yeah.
Raging Bull or Bend It Like Beckham. Raging Bull is one of the best sports movies of all time. Bend It Like Beckham, again, no offense to the soccer people. It's a cringy movie.
I've never even. I didn't even know that was a movie.
There's better soccer movies.
It's like one of the first De Niro movies that really took off too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the start of his career. It's all black and white, it's a cool movie. It's a good movie. All right, next one. We got Creed against Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights, the movie, not the show.
I'm gonna need someone else to go here.
There are two groups of people that have thoughts about Creed. There are the Rocky people that are this sucks because it's not Rocky. And then there's our generation. It's this is our Rocky. I think people our age think Creed is the fucking greatest movie ever made.
Yeah.
But if you grew up on Rocky, you're Creed is cringy and it's a bad spinoff. Friday Night Lights, the show, clears Friday Night Lights, the movie.
That's why I'm having trouble.
I'm going to go Creed.
Yeah.
Creed 1, I think, is probably better than Friday Night Lights, the movie, but this one I do think is very debatable.
What do you think, Jackson? I'm fine being
I think Brendan hit it on the head where Creed is this generation's Rocky.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the Creed movies, and I love it.
Yeah.
But then I'll speak to older people, and it's it's no Rocky.
Yeah.
But for this situation, I'm taking Creed over Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Make it three.
All right, this is another easy one for me. This is a 2 versus a 15. We've got Moneyball against Eddie the Eagle. Moneyball.
No upset.
All day. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna. Okay.
Have you even seen Eddie the Eagle?
I didn't even know it was a movie.
Thank you.
That sounds like a Muppet character.
Caddyshack versus Challengers.
Now, Brendan, you want to talk about Challengers, so here's your 4, man.
I think that Challengers might be the worst movie ever made.
I didn't know what direction you were going to go with this.
Not just the worst sports movie ever made. I think it might be the worst movie ever made. And you know who sucks? Zendaya.
Whoa.
She's not a good actress.
Whoa.
Not a good actress. So I'm going Caddyshack.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's really all you had to say was Caddyshack. I like that little rant, though. That was cool.
I needed to go off on Challengers.
Caddyshack's an all-time movie, man. Love that movie.
All right, next up, we've got Goon against I, Tonya. I'm backing out because I kind of want to be the tiebreaker if we have one.
I, Tonya is a better movie, I think, than Goon, but I'm going Goon.
I mean, Goon, it's a good movie, but I can't say I'm a fan of it. So I'm going to go with I, Tonya. The whole story of Tonya and, was it Nancy Harding?
Nancy Kerrigan.
Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding.
Oh, my God.
Nancy Harding and Tonya Kerrigan?
Yeah,
yeah.
I got to the point. I got 50-50. I passed.
You passed.
I just like the whole premise of that story.
No, yeah.
I already moved I, Tonya over. It's a much better movie. It's a fantastic movie.
No, it is a great. I just kind of wanted to say Goon.
Is that Margot Robbie as well?
Margot Robbie, yeah. Sports aside, take the figure skating element out of it. I, Tonya is a great movie.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that movie.
Next one, we've got The Natural against The Greatest Game Ever Played.
Oof, this is a hard one.
This is good because these are two good movies. The golf fan in me is I love baseball movies, and like was said earlier, I think baseball movies get more love because there's just more of them.
Yeah.
The golf fan in me knows that The Greatest Game Ever Played is the best golf movie to have ever been made. That's not slapstick humor like Caddyshack and Happy Gilmore. So I'll go with The Greatest Game Ever Played.
This is a hard one for me to pick against The Natural, but I'm going to go with The Greatest Game Ever Played because, like you said, Brendan, I think this is the best golf movie.
All right, next up, we've got Space Jam against The Sandlot Heading Home. This would be the third Sandlot, not the second.
Okay.
Space Jam.
I'm going Space Jam here because I don't like the Sandlot. And
I like this Sandlot.
I don't even know this one.
I'm an original Sandlot guy,
Yeah,
and you can't go wrong with that. And I'm not a huge fan of Space Jam and the whole Michael Jordan, all the characters. I'm just going Space Jam here because I'm anti third Sandlot.
I like the Sandlot. I gotta put it out there that I want to defend this Sandlot. It's a lot better than the second one. But he was like a dick when he was a kid, and he made it big in the MLB, and then he got knocked out, and all of a sudden he was a kid again, and then he wasn't a dick, and they all loved him, and then when he came to, they were all there, and his whole life had changed. But yeah, I just had to throw the defense out there. I understand you can't put the third Sandlot over Space Jam. That can't happen here. All right, next one. We got The Waterboy against Race.
See, I love Adam Sandler, and I love Adam Sandler movies. But there's been better Adam Sandler movies than The Waterboy. I mean, I'm going Race here because I like Jesse Owens in the whole event. But Waterboy just never did it for me. Adam Sandler has better movies in general.
I'm going to second Jackson. I'm just really not a big fan of The Waterboy.
It kind of shocks me. I was going to pick Race as well. I think it's a much better movie.
Yeah.
We've got A League of Their Own against Kicking and Screaming.
There's no crying in baseball. I'm going A League.
Are we all three going to send it through?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I think Kicking and Screaming is a very funny movie. I do. But it's just I think of that not as a great sports movie. I think of that as a funny comedy.
Yeah, it has some funny scenes, like the Mike Ditka stuff is funny.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell is, like we've mentioned earlier, he's timeless in these kind of sports comedies from the mid-2000s. A League of Their Own is just too good of a movie.
Phenomenal.
To bounce. We've got Rocky IV and Blades of Glory. Speaking of Will Ferrell sports comedies.
I think Blades of Glory is a very funny movie. It's Halloween costume people recreate every year. It's got some very quotable. People know the name of the movie, but Rocky IV is a great movie with Drago, and I think that is something you could consider timeless.
Yeah, I'm gonna send Rocky IV through as well. I didn't realize that was the Drago one. Now that I know that to me is, I think the Drago one's probably one of the best ones.
I mean, people know Rocky, they know Drago, and then this is the whole kind of Creed situation, which leads into our generation.
Moving on. Miracle against American Underdog. Miracle was going to clear any movie it had for the most part, but giving it the cringy Kurt Warner movie, this is a layup. My God, Miracle all day.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to wait to hear someone else say something different.
No, I don't have anything else to say.
Have you two seen the Kurt Warner movie?
No, I saw clips of it looking awful, so I didn't watch it.
I watched it on mute on a plane, which is how I think it was intended to be seen.
Yeah, I feel like it's on every plane ride that I've taken, where that's the recommendation.
And I didn't have any audio on. I just had closed captioning. And even that, I was like, ugh, this isn't good. Next, we've got another just juggernaut here. Remember the Titans against Love and Basketball. Remember the Titans for me.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched Love and Basketball before.
Brendan, was this the movie they put on for us in 8th grade?
Yeah.
I've seen it since then, but I was trying to remember when else I'd seen it.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great. Was that the last day of school or something, or was it the last day before
I think
Christmas
last day
break?
before we went to high school.
Next up, this is a good matchup. I think this is gonna 42 versus Rudy. This one's good.
I don't think you can go wrong with 42. 42, it's like that number is a staple, not just in baseball but in all sports.
Yeah.
And just Jackie Robinson. Everyone knows Jackie Robinson, and 42 speaks for itself. So that's why I'm taking 42.
Yeah, these are two phenomenal stories. Like you kind of mentioned earlier, Jackson, some of these movies are going to have great stories. And they're both really good movies. And it's hard for me to pick against one of them. But, man, I'm probably going to get some flack for saying this. But Rudy's just kind of cringy. And I think that's kind of that's just the story. But to me, the movie itself of 42, I believe Chadwick Boseman plays Jackie Robinson in that movie.
He does.
rest in peace to him, but phenomenal actor. I think he does a great job with the movie, and I think I love that movie. That's one of my favorite sports movies. So I'm gonna go 42.
I'll third that. I think this is Chadwick Boseman's best performance.
Yeah.
I think 42 was probably his best work. That's the role of a lifetime. Again, this might be a generational thing.
Could be. Yeah.
42 is like one of the newer movies on this. I think Eddie the Eagle might be the newest. Maybe I, Tonya. But 42 is in the list of newer movies from this bracket. But I still think it's a better movie. Next up, Bad News Bears, the original, against D3, the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, Bad News Bears for me.
Same here.
Yep. It like takes you back to when you were learning to play baseball and you had to deal with all the kids who couldn't catch or couldn't throw. It almost feels like a personal movie that you can relate to.
Yeah.
Not saying that we were
especially growing up where we grew up, Jackson. We played with a lot of interesting cats in our day. Yeah. Although I would have liked to see a potential Mighty Ducks matchup, we're going to send Bad News Bears through. And our next matchup is the original Mighty Ducks against the new Longest Yard. So the Adam Sandler Longest Yard against the original Mighty Ducks.
I'm going to go with the Mighty Ducks here.
I'll go with Mighty Ducks as well, especially being hockey players. I think that movie speaks to us a little bit more.
The Longest Yard has its audience. It just doesn't. It's an okay movie for me, but it doesn't do it for me.
I would also say culturally, Mighty Ducks is a lot bigger.
I would agree.
Even for non-hockey fans. All right, Mighty Ducks moves through. Rocky 3 against Coach Carter.
I'm going to go Coach Carter here. In comparison to Rocky 3, I think that is a better movie overall with I don't associate Rocky 3 with one of the best Rocky movies. That's really what it is for me. So if I'm kind of going with the franchise of Rocky, I don't think Rocky 3 is up there with me for one of my tops. I think Coach Carter is an awesome movie, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that Apollo didn't die in Rocky 3, and he didn't. So, Lynch, I'll agree with you. I'll go with Coach Carter.
Yes.
As well.
Carl Weathers is through. He's got a lot of movies on this list.
It does.
The Sandlot versus the Karate Kid. This is like a 90s kid's dream matchup. Another Final Four type vibe. I'll go right off the rip. I'm taking the Sandlot. It's just too nostalgic for me to not send through. So I'm going Sandlot.
Which Karate Kid is this?
This is not the Jaden Smith one.
Fuck, okay, so if it was that one, I probably would have picked it.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, jeez.
It sounds weird to say this, but if we're going sports movies, I think The Sandlot comes to mind before The Karate Kid. So I'm going to go The Sandlot here.
All right, moving on. Jerry Maguire against Youngblood. Youngblood's like a classic, throw it right in the middle of the 80s with the
Rob Lowe.
Yeah, the combat music when they're playing hockey. But it's an all-time classic. Jerry Maguire is a little bit more put together.
Yeah.
I'd say. I think I would lean Jerry Maguire.
I think Jerry Maguire hits home with more people, and I think in the conversation of better sports movies, that's probably one that is up there in the conversation more. So I'm going to go with Jerry Maguire as well. I love Youngblood. I think that's a great movie.
All right, let's moving on. Last matchup of the first round, the round of 64. Field of Dreams against Creed 2. I think we're going to sweep this one. I'm going Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner staple.
Yep.
Yeah, Jackson, you mentioned it. Kevin Costner in baseball movies doesn't miss.
He's just the GOAT.
Back up to the top on the other side of the bracket, we've got Rocky against 8 Men Out. I'm going 8 Men Out. Hot take.
Whoa.
I love this movie.
Wow.
I love 8 Men Out. This is just a personal thing. I love 8 Men Out. And I know that you two are probably going to pick Rocky, so I just had to give
that's why
8 Men Out the respect.
I respect that from you. Because I'm going to go Rocky here. I am. I think it's just a cult classic.
Jackson tiebreak.
Oh, I'm going Rocky. I mean, 8 Men Out, great movie.
Wasn't sure.
But when I think of, or this is me personally, I think of Field of Dreams when I think of the old Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I think of 8 Men Out.
I mean, that's what it's obviously made about. But, I mean, 8 Men Out could have gone. I mean, I think it was put in a different situation. Maybe it takes down a one seat somewhere else. I just don't think it's taking down Rocky.
Slapshot against Major League. These are two. This is the equivalent. Slapshot is the hockey equivalent of what Major League is.
This is a hard one.
I'm going to put in a vote for Major League. I don't want to see the baseball movies fall by the wayside here.
I mean, I've always loved Major League. Major League, I've watched all of them with my dad, just sitting down. It's like, oh, we can't find a movie. Oh, let's watch Major League.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that's funny every time, even though I know what's coming.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Major
Major
League.
League's going through, but just so people know, I would have picked Slapshot. I love that.
Major League is in the Sweet 16.
I love that movie, man. But I totally like that one is like 51% Slapshot, 49% Major League for me if I had to pick. So it's hard. That's a very close one.
All right, next up we got Glory Road against The Blind Side. I'm going with The Blind Side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Glory Road, it made it through its matchup, but I don't think it can take down The Blind Side.
Yeah, I think The Blind Side just, it's got everything covered, man. See what I did there.
All right, another historic matchup of comedies here. We've got Dodgeball and Happy Gilmore. If Dodgeball and Talladega Nights wasn't hard enough,
yeah,
Happy Gilmore and Dodgeball is probably equally as difficult to pick.
I'm going Happy Gilmore, though. I really am. I think in the conversation of, I think this touches on two sports, hockey and golf. It's a two-sport movie.
I'll pick Happy Gilmore because I want to see Carl Weathers remain in the bracket for as long as possible. I'm not going to let Mystery Alaska get bounced in the round of 32.
I think for me, I'm going to side with Brennan here. I think Bull Durham is an awesome movie, but I do have to think of myself sometimes and movies that I consider the best, and I think Mystery Alaska is a better sports movie than Bull Durham.
Moving on. Sorry. I mean, Mystery Alaska, that movie could not even have dialogue, and it would still be better, purely just from watching them skate in the middle of the forest. All right, next up, Hoosiers against We Are Marshall.
I'm taking Hoosiers.
Lynch, I'll make you the tiebreak. I'm taking We Are Marshall.
Yeah, I'm going Hoosiers here. I think it's just I think it's just like an all-time. Like I kind of like Jackson said, it's when you think of basketball movies, you think of Hoosiers. So I think it's tough to pick against that one for me.
Brennan's 0 for 2 versus Hoosiers so far.
No, I can't beat Hoosiers for some reason. This is an interesting matchup. Rocky 2 against Raging Bull.
Two heavy hitters.
I think I would go Raging Bull. I agree with you guys. I don't think Rocky 2's the best Rocky.
Yeah.
I think
like other Rocky movies, I think might beat Raging Bull.
I agree with that.
So I'm going to go Raging Bull.
Jackson?
Yeah, I was going to go Raging Bull. I think Rocky 2 and 3 are not as good as 1 and 4.
Yeah. I think 2 is a very good. I think that is a great story. I think it's awesome. Like it's a fun movie to watch. But like you guys have hinted, I sound like a broken record. There are better Rocky movies ahead of 2, in my opinion. So Raging Bull, I think would win this bout in the ring.
All right, next up, Creed and Moneyball. I'm sending Moneyball.
Oh yeah,
Moneyball's a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah,
love the Moneyball music.
All right, Caddyshack against I, Tonya.
It's a hard one.
This is a hard one. I would go I, Tonya, personally. It's tough, but I think I favor the better movie. Like, I'm not as slapstick friendly as people might think.
Jackson, you're Caddyshack here?
Yeah, I love Rodney Dangerfield and that whole... I mean, it's a golf movie, but it's not really a golf movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a movie that always never fails to make me laugh.
I'm going to go against my gut here.
Wow.
And I'm going to go I, Tonya. I'm gonna go I, Tonya. Yeah. Because I
did not expect that.
I think Caddyshack is a better movie. I fucking love Caddyshack. But I can survive with it. Because I'm thinking ahead. I know where my votes are going to go, further on, and I don't think it was going to make it that deep. So I'm content, with it, ending its reign now.
All right, greatest game ever played against Space Jam. I'm going greatest game ever played.
Second, third that.
I'm just not a fan of Space Jam.
I think
Same. I never have been. Race versus League of Their Own. I'm going to League of Their Own again.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I'm going to.
This side of the bracket, I feel like is a lot easier than the other.
What do you think, Jack? You agree with that? Or
See, this is one of those matchups where I could go 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's two very underrated movies.
I agree with you.
I go with A League of Their Own. But I could see Race. They could have gone as well.
Next up, Rocky 4 against Miracle.
This is a fucking hard one.
This is a
round
great
of 32.
matchup.
This should be Final Four.
This sucks.
This should be a championship matchup. This is the Natty. I'll put my vote in. I'm going to go Miracle.
Yeah, Miracle is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I gotta go.
Yeah.
Miracle. I gotta go Miracle.
Jackson, what would you have picked?
Had Rocky 4 been facing 90% of this bracket, they would have won.
I agree.
But I think when you're going off against one of the heavyweights, it's hard to advance.
All right, next up, we've got a great matchup of good movies. We got Remember the Titans against 42.
This is hard. This is a difficult one too.
When I'm thinking of sports staples, I have to go Remember the Titans.
I'm gonna agree.
Same
with that.
here.
42 is just, it's too new.
Yeah, I agree with that.
People know the story, but not the movie. And this is about movies.
Yeah. And Remember the Titans is one of those
Good
movies.
way to put it. I just ranked it number 1 on TBR's
You did.
all-time sports movies too,
You
so I
did.
feel like it'd be
You did.
hypocritical for me to pick against it here.
That would be very hypocritical.
All right, again, a clash of two very similar movies. We got Bad News Bears against the Mighty Ducks. I'm going Mighty Ducks. Personally, it's just I prefer that movie. Hockey bias there, but I'm going Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think the Bad News Bears is awesome, but I think they both kind of are in the same realm of, it's one or the other. But for me, Mighty Ducks is better.
All right, Coach Carter against the Sandlot. I'm taking the Sandlot.
I'm also taking the Sandlot.
Jerry Maguire against Field of Dreams. I'm going Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Got to keep my Kevin Costner alive. Or keep him alive.
Moving on to the Sweet 16. Rocky against Major League.
I'm going Rocky.
Yeah, this has to be the end of the road for Major League, unfortunately.
Yeah, I love Rocky, man.
All right, next we've got The Blind Side against Happy Gilmore.
Taking Happy Gilmore here. That's one of my favorite movies, Happy Gilmore, and I just love Adam Sandler in this whole situation and Schumer.
I'm struggling with this one.
I mean, The Blind Side, great movie, but if I were to think tonight, which movie would I rather watch tonight? I'm taking Happy Gilmore.
Jackson, that's a phenomenal point you just made. See, I'm with you, Brennan, here, but I think I know where I'm going to go. So do you want me to answer, or do you want?
No, where are you going to go?
My answer is Happy Gilmore.
All right.
I love The Blind Side, but Happy Gilmore without a doubt.
All right, Happy Gilmore through to the Elite Eight. Mystery Alaska against Hoosiers.
Here's your Hoosiers.
Am I going to beat Hoosiers this time?
Ah, man, this is tough.
It's Mystery Alaska for me. I think Mystery Alaska clears most movies on this list. I didn't like the silence after.
No, this is the process. This is the process. I just have to think. Do I want to go with my answer or the people's answer? Brendan, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna go. I want to pick Mystery Alaska. I do, but I think Hoosiers has more of an effect on like the sport that it's representing as a whole. Like you said, like that's the movie that you think of when you think basketball movies, and I don't think general population thinks of Mystery Alaska when they think of hockey. So I'm going to go Hoosiers here because I think that overall is probably considered a better sports movie.
I'm going to take Hoosiers as well because
Fuck that.
I just
when I think of basketball movies, I think of Hoosiers, but when I think of hockey movies, I don't think of Mystery
You
Alaska.
conformist, fucking socialist, don't have an independent thought. Oh, I'm going to do it because I'm afraid what they might say. Please. Mystery Alaska's a better movie. This is bullshit. I can't beat this stupid fucking movie. I mean, I lost 3 of my favorite movies. I lost Fever Pitch, I lost We Are Marshall, and I lost Mystery Alaska.
Hoosiers is on a rain right now.
Next one, Raging Bull against Moneyball.
I'm going to go Moneyball.
Yeah.
Same. I, Tonya against The Greatest Game Ever Played.
I'm going to go with The Greatest Game Ever Played.
Same.
Yeah.
You got to remember, we're talking about sports movies. I, Tonya went on a good run, but I, Tonya is like, I'm not saying figure skating is not a sport, but the movie itself doesn't really revolve around figure skating. All right, Miracle against A League of Their Own.
This is the movie that I think of when I think of hockey.
Yeah. It's Miracle.
All right,
Hey.
we're going Miracle?
Yeah.
All right, Remember the Titans against Mighty Ducks. I'm going to Remember the Titans.
Yep.
Yes.
Look at this matchup. The Sandlot against Field of Dreams.
I'll just give my
Probably the
answer.
best one at this.
I'll get my answer right away. It's Field of Dreams for me. I can push aside the fact that I love The Sandlot, and it's just a great movie you watch growing up. But man, the Field of Dreams is phenomenal.
Jackson's going to go with Field of Dreams, so I'll just move it ahead.
There's
I would've
something
picked the
special
Sandlot.
about Field of Dreams. Like,
Sorry.
Sandlot is good.
He's been stroking Kevin Costner all
Yeah,
episode.
you really have.
He's on a run. I mean, it's just an all-time classic. Just not even for sports movies.
Those two, I think, were probably the closest movies we could have gotten.
I agree.
Because they quite literally revolve around baseball fields.
Yes, the entire.
Like, made up baseball fields too, you know?
Yeah.
I need to watch it. I might watch
I
that.
think I would have picked the Sandlot, but that's just me. All right, Rocky against Happy Gilmore. Who's going to the Final Four?
Rocky.
I would also say Rocky.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick against Happy Gilmore, but it's Rocky. It just has that hold on you, man.
All right. Will the
No,
improbable run continue?
it won't. I'm going Moneyball.
Hoosiers against Moneyball.
I'm going Moneyball.
I'm going Moneyball too because fuck Hoosiers. I'm pissed.
Yeah, I love Hoosiers, but its run is over.
Wow, we sent Hoosiers all the way through just to lose to Moneyball.
Yeah.
Wow.
Moneyball's a fucking great movie.
It is.
Can I ask this question? Would Mystery Alaska have beaten Moneyball?
No.
Yes, it would have.
No, what enough.
I don't think anything in this whole region is beating Moneyball.
Greatest game ever played against Miracle. I think I know where we're going here. But
Yeah, that's Miracle for me.
Miracle. And then Remember the Titans against Field of Dreams.
This is a tough one. I
Okay,
don't
this
wanna
might be the
start.
best one we've had yet.
Yeah,
This could be the best match.
This is a fucking.
I'll put my 2 cents in now. I've used this rationale earlier in the episode. I feel like we can't not have a baseball movie in the Final Four.
Yeah,
Just because of the sheer volume of great baseball movies. I know we have Moneyball, but on this side of the bracket, speaking, I want Field of Dreams to go through. So I'm going to pick Field of Dreams.
I love both these movies.
is he gonna continue?
And I think you put one of these
Kevin
two
Costner is great in movies.
He
Michael.
is.
How could
One
you
of
not?
these two movies in another region, and I think these two teams could have won.
This could have been a finals.
But for the one that I personally like the most, we're gonna go selfish here. We gotta stick with my boy Kevin Costner.
I like that. I like that, bro.
Yeah, baby.
He's gonna stay.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
He does
built
his
it
job
in the
very well.
Some people might have predicted it. Some people might not have. We've got Rocky,
Or
Moneyball, Miracle, and Field of Dreams. So let's get into it. Rocky against Moneyball. See, here's my rationale. Like I'm trying to take it matchup by matchup.
yeah.
I don't want to like look ahead and be like, oh, like this one should be in the finals, this one shouldn't be. Between these two movies, personally, I would pick Moneyball. But then when I think about it, I'm like, I wouldn't have sent Moneyball to the championship at the start of this bracket.
Yeah.
That's my rationale. But
Good
in
point.
this particular matchup, that's how March Madness goes.
Yeah.
I think Moneyball draws a pretty good, favorable matchup here. Even though they're a 2 seed going up against a 1 seed, I think they'd be favored. So I'm going to pick Moneyball.
Jackson, I'm making this decision's up to you, man. I'm going Rocky. I think I love Moneyball. I do, and I just have to go back to the fact that Rocky is just always in the conversation of all time sports movies, and it's up there for a reason. Hence, it being in the Final Four. I mean, I think Moneyball, like I said, is a great movie. I can watch it a million times over and over and over. But I think the overwhelming majority of people know Rocky as a sport movie more than they might know Moneyball. I'm gonna go Rocky.
It all comes down to Jackson.
I mean,
Kevin Costner's not in this one.
No, he's not.
So.
I mean, Brendan couldn't have said any better. Coming into this, I would never have put Moneyball in the final two. However, going into this matchup, personally, I would rather watch Moneyball than Rocky. However, when I think of iconic movies, it's Rocky. And so, I mean, Rocky is one of those iconic movies where it's a staple in any sort of sports conversation movie. And I mean, that's why I have to go with Rocky. I personally would rather watch Moneyball, but for the overwhelming majority, I would take Rocky.
Your whole explanation, I thought you were saying why you were going to take Rocky.
Same. You mean Moneyball?
I mean, yeah, Moneyball.
Yeah, I thought you were going to take Moneyball.
Why he was going to take Moneyball. Well, he said he'd rather watch Moneyball.
Yeah.
I would.
But Rocky's going through. All right. Let's get to the other side, which I think is probably the better matchup to talk about. Miracle against Field of Dreams.
For me, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. So Miracle is going to make it to the finals for me.
Jackson,
Stories
how's
from
Kevin Costner looking against Team USA?
He's not looking pretty this time. I mean, when I think of hockey, it's Miracle, but when I think of baseball, it's Field of Dreams. And yet, I mean, there's two different crowds, two different arguments. It's hard.
So you're going Miracle?
You know, I got to stick to my guns, and I'll take Field of Dreams.
All right. Doesn't matter because I'm
Just to
taking
help
Miracle.
you.
It's always been Miracle.
It's always been Miracle. No, rationale for me is that Miracle is like the all-time for me. That's just I think I could quote that movie from start to finish without like having it on. I really do.
Right.
Maybe that could be a podcast episode. See how accurate I could get the whole script. I also my dad, who's an avid listener and an avid commenter now, when I put out the sports movie rankings, he said that Miracle should have been. I had it at 5, I think.
Yeah,
he said Miracle should have been a lot higher because it's one of the only movies that hired actual players to act.
Yeah.
Instead of transitioning actors into athletes, they took athletes and transitioned them to actors.
Great point.
And I think that makes the actual gameplay that matches up. It should be in the championship because those guys are all real hockey players for the most part. Here is how the bracket looks right now. We have Rocky coming out of, I guess you could say, the east side. And, that would be the west. And then Miracle coming out of the east side. And that's our championship. We've got Rocky against Miracle head to head for the greatest sports movie of all time. Let's duke it out. Objectively speaking, like I just said, I think there's better action in Miracle. I think there's a better story in Miracle. I like the fact that it's based on a real true story. I know Rocky is like developed from real boxers and inspired by. Miracle happened. And it's one of the greatest upsets in sports history. And the movie really brings it to life, especially for a generation that didn't get to live through it. The way they made that film was excellent. I wouldn't have had Miracle in this spot, but I think when it's going up against Rocky, Miracle's the better sports movie. So I'm taking Miracle.
You took every word out of my mouth and you said it. Like I said, Miracle is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I think in comparison to Rocky, I think as a sport movie, it is a better movie. I'm going Miracle.
So you're going Miracle.
I'm going Miracle, man. Miracle just won.
Jackson?
Rocky, both movies, phenomenal movies. And I could watch them any day of the week. Rocky, however, it's an individual movie, but I love the whole aspect of a plural sports team movie. And that's exactly what Miracle is. And Brennan, like you said, it's probably the greatest underdog upset story in sports history. And I think that cannot be forgotten about. And like they took that event in the whole Lake Placid scene and just brought it to life, and you can almost like feel like you're a part of it. Whereas Rocky, I don't feel that way, and that's why I'm taking Miracle to win it all.
All right, so it's official. According to TBR Sports, the greatest sports movie of all time is Disney Pixar's 2004 Miracle. So, yeah, if you're listening to this on Spotify, I think you can comment on Spotify now. I think that's a new addition. I'm not sure. Leave your comments, or you know where to find us. Let us know if you agree, disagree, what you think the greatest sports movie of all time is. If you had any movies that were left off the list that, even if you didn't think they were the greatest, you wanted to still see included, let us know. Let us know what we should do for our next bracket. Worst sports movies of all time. Doesn't have to be sports necessarily either. Best movies of all time. Worst movies of all time. But yeah, the brackets are fun for the podcast. They really are. And I think it's a good way to kind of integrate the trivia stuff. So yeah, there's our bracket. And so yeah, be on the lookout. Next Friday, we'll have another bracket. We'll reveal what the bracket is going to be on Instagram a couple days before it gets released. If you have any suggestions, reach out to us, TBR Sports on Instagram, on TikTok. You can comment on this podcast on Spotify, comment on YouTube. All our links will be down below. And yeah, we will see you guys next Friday for episode 144 of the Booth Movie Podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. See you then.